We're now calling the meeting to order at 5:00 p.m. I'm going to take a moment of silence, followed by
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Claire, since we're open for public comment,
Alright, public comment periods will be held at the beginning of the scheduled meetings and limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. Each person desiring to speak shall clearly state their name and will have a maximum of 3 minutes to make his or her remarks. A speaker may not speak more than once during the same public comment period, and unused time may not be yielded to another speaker. To avoid repetition, groups of individuals who expect to have the same or similar comments are encouraged to select a spokesperson. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions. The board should refrain from engaging in dialogue except to the extent necessary to clarify the speaker's position. The board shall not entertain questions from the audience, and discussions between speakers and members of the audience shall be prohibited. Speakers shall maintain proper decorum and shall make their comments in a civil manner. Personal attacks and use of obscene and profane language are prohibited. Speaker comments should be limited to subjects that are within the board's jurisdiction. Action on items brought up during the public comment period will be at the discretion of the board. Let me get my timer up.
so, do you have anyone?
Dana Vasquez, and my brain is mush. Probably all of you have been busy with all of this, so thank you all for all that you're doing. I do hope that we're going to hear the 4 o'clock numbers, updates, if possible by precinct, but at least countywide if we can hear that. And look forward to all of this being taken care of tonight. Thank you all.
Rebecca Brock. You guys know.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
There's still lines at Western Harnett for an hour and a half. Still lines at Anderson Creek for about an hour. You guys have been answering phone calls all day long. I'm sure we'll have more at Canvas, but overall, you're doing it's a lot of work. The one thing I would wish that I knew before is that we just had a diagram of all of the poles as to where we could set tents up, because we had to move a few. And I went to look at the website, and those were removed from your old website. So I'm just thinking we could probably do some new ones. And potentially, I've seen different judges handle their precincts differently. I don't know if that's the way you want it to be conducted. I'm talking about observers and stuff like that. But in general, you guys you're going to review a lot. There's a lot of provisional ballots being cast. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy time. But thank you for your hard work and for staff's hard work, too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Speak now, whoever will. All right, then. On to the meeting minutes.
Alright, so everybody has before them a copy of the minutes from yesterday. I did email them earlier. If you haven't had a chance to review them, you can do so now. Once you're satisfied, a motion to approve would be in order.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so this is the set to be signed.
telling you about a lot of people. They won't have a secret, that's what they make it now.
Yeah,
Here's my secret.
the little girl won with Aaron's hospital. Okay. Okay, Claire, on the business.
Alright, so I do have a few election updates for you. So as of 4 o'clock, we have had over 9,000 people to vote today. Our biggest one so far has been Northwest Harnett. They've had over 1,200 people to vote today. And Anderson Creek and Barbecue are at 4 o'clock, they were just a little over 1,000. So those have been our big ones. We did manage to, we had a few spare laptops that we had to do a little bit of work on, but we were able to get another laptop out to Barbecue and another laptop to Anderson Creek. So hopefully that'll help with some of their lines. So now they have an additional one. This morning they started with 5, so now they have 6.
So that was Anderson Creek.
And Barbecue. Yeah, so we were able to increase that. We do see that we were getting a large influx of provisional ballots. I think so far as of 4, we've had 590 provisional ballots cast. So we did have to run out to a few locations to get them some more envelopes as well. So
Is
we
there a
will.
location that there's more than others?
I think mostly the western side of the county is where we're seeing a lot of them. So we'll handle those at our absentee provisional meeting next week, once we get time to review those. For the most part, everything's been fairly well today. Of course, this morning, there was a lot of calls coming in, how do we do this, how do we do that, but once they kind of got into their groove again, after about an hour, things kind of quieted down. I know we had some few site complaints, but nothing that we've not heard before with parking and, just the lines. Some things I think we'll be able to address when we do discuss, polling places and stuff in January. But for the most part, everything's been going well. Again, having a lot of provisionals is a lot of work, but at least we know people are being offered the ballot and they're not being turned away. So that's good as well. The only other reminder I had was just to, again, remind you all that Thursday at 9, so that's November 7th, is we'll have our sample hand-eye count here. So tomorrow the state will randomly select 2 precincts, and we will do a sample hand-eye count to verify that the machine numbers are matching. Again, that is a public event, so everybody can come view that. That'll be in this room, again, Thursday at 9.
You already have staff for that?
Yes, we have 2 bipartisan teams that will help with that count, so it's just a matter of seeing which 2 get randomly selected.
So they do that tomorrow, right?
They do it tomorrow, yes, the state will do that. So before we move into the absentee things, I think we had some other comments.
Yes, with the thought in mind of possible redistricting and addressing the new locations of voting places this coming January, I want to put an eyes on to as many of the voting places that I could possibly do. And of course, it was almost like my mom used to say, my eyes were bigger than my stomach. I was thinking I could do so much more, but it takes a lot of time. And interaction with the poll workers, observers, judges was very, very rewarding. They were very appreciative of the thanks that we gave to them for the work that they're doing. And of course, I garnered many issues. I asked them if they had any things that have come up, and a couple were of note. One was a lady in Johnsonville in the morning that went a little berserk and she was raving and ranting at everyone in the room, and they called the police on her, and she left before they got there, but of course, they know who it is. I don't know what eventually will come of it. There was, no one was injured, but I'm sure it upset a lot of people. But they handled it professionally, and that's all we can ask for them. One of the things that has already been mentioned is there were an extraordinary number of provisional ballots. And the provisional ballots, the first thing that I thought of is we maybe didn't get our message out. I asked what the reasons were from some of the people and from the judges in particular, and they pretty much unanimously said, well, they were new voters in the area, or they were registered in other locations, and so they were offered to have a provisional. Maybe it's better to offer them to go to their designated spot. That would be a way of getting them to conclude their balloting for the day, but it's still a big issue. And I don't know what the numbers are going to be. It's probably easily in the hundreds, I think. And I think that we have to address, as a board, we have to address what our methodology is for getting our notification out to the general public. I know we talked at length before about billboards and notices in the paper. We were told that the state was going to blanket the area with information, and I don't know if that's adequate. One of the things I know I had mentioned at that time was we have the contact information for all of the voters in our county, and we should consider texting them. It's a direct methodology. It goes to their cell phones. There may be some that we missed because they don't have cell phones, but predominantly most people communicate with cell phones. So we may want to consider getting our message out with those means. And it's one of the things that's fairly simplistic. It's in place. We can design the messages, and the services can execute them within a period of a couple of hours. So we have total notification, and that might reduce the provisionals ultimately. And of course, the other thing is it's critical for what we're going to do for the redistricting, I'll call it. That's not the correct term, but we have to look at the population centers. We have to look at the available locations. A lot of people don't like the idea that we're using schools. Well, that's fine as long as we have alternate facilities that we can use. So it's going to require a lot of research, and of course we want to have input in that regard from the parties, from the public, and our best judgment put together. We may come up with some positive changes that will help us in the process. I have noted one other thing, that we've had a couple of printer issues. One was cartridges. The other one, the printer was down for a very short period of time in Johnsonville, and it was addressed quickly. An overall observation, I think that there should be some sort of uniformity in the way we set up the polling places. It seems like everyone I go into and look at, it's a different image to me. And if we had a suggested diagram that we come up with to use the best use of the space that might be available, I think that'll go a long way in allowing us to execute it a little easier and more efficiently. That's about all I have to say on the issue, unless anybody has any questions, and Mr. Bell certainly can comment on his observations.
For the most part, it was a smooth, so far, a smooth election. We, after speaking with poll workers and judges, parking is always an issue, it seems that we can't control that. But at Stewart's Creek, the fire chief or the captain asked us if we could provide more of the yellow cones. He said he needed about 30 because we are taking up cones that they need, even though they had their trucks outside the bay and all, and they had the trucks there, but if they had to go on a call, then they would have to pull up some of the cones to go. The other thing was, I thought was odd, when I came up, there was a police car sitting there, right there on plain view in front, from Holly Springs. And nobody knows how it got there, and it was just there. Nobody moved. I was there probably an hour or so, but wasn't moved. It stayed there the entire time. Holly Springs City Police car. And also the signage thing. I mentioned, Ms. Brock mentioned that having a diagram of a polling place, having some directional signs would be good. Case in point, I was told to follow the sign to go into Johnsonville, and the way the signs were set up, the arrow was pointing. I went upstairs and banging on the gym door that wasn't the area. You had to go around to the auditorium, but the actual vote here sign was pointed towards the gym. But that's a minor thing. I just think being mindful of we're dealing with the public and everybody's not going to know what they need to do. And I think if we do like Bill said, perhaps find a way to get information out to inform our public that this is on election time, this is where you need to be, this is where you need to go, and what is required. It seems mundane to us because we know that, but there's a lot of people out there marginalized that don't know this. And I think having notification to them in some form of fashion better than what we got. I did see a billboard going into Dunn about early voting, but unless there was, I haven't been all over the council, I haven't seen. But I just think we need a little more PR. That's what I got.
Could I add something else? A couple of things come to mind while he was speaking. One of the things that might be a possible solution is, since we have 4 locations for the early voting and different locations for the day of election, it may be a good idea to print up a little card or a little handout for the people at the early voting stations, reminding them where they should vote. Say these other locations are available, remember to go there on election day. That was one thought. Another issue that I recall is there was a concern about the campaigning very close to the curbside voting. There were a lineup of a half a dozen cars, and they were walking up to the cars that were in line, handing out the ballots, and they were within 2 foot, I was told, I didn't see it, of the cars, and in one instance they were backing up traffic onto the highway. And so that's something that I think we should address. I don't have the solution, but certainly there's a 50-foot limit from the no campaigning, from 50 foot from the voting place. There should be something that talks as far as the curbside is concerned. And if there isn't, there should be. And what was the other thing that I was going to mention? Well, I think that's, I'll shut up.
Well, I got one more thing. I had people walking with canes and having to walk a long distance to the polls when we had cars. Our poll workers kind of sitting in the shortest distance to the entrance. Is it possible that we could have better signage for handicap parking? But we didn't have that, I didn't see that in the spots, did you?
No, and as a matter of fact, that would be, this whole list of things that we're talking about are things that we'll address in detail in January.
They have some blue handicap signs.
Yeah, we
All
need
the
those.
sites have additional blue.
They would be nice if the proximal parking space be designated for that. Because I
Yeah, we
did
tell the
see
chief
people.
judges to try to keep the workers toward the back so voters can be toward the front.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
There, I thought we were advised by the state board not to visit the sites. I love to visit the sites, but we were advised not to.
Yeah, the state board's opinion is that board members should not be at the sites because should a situation arise and a board member is there, it gets involved, and then it becomes a protest, the board members cannot participate in that protest hearing. So it is not recommended for board members to go to the polling places. But I don't have the authority to stop board members from going to the polling places either.
If that's actually the edict of the State Board of Elections, I'd be more than happy to challenge them. I think that's ridiculous. The only way we can see if we're running the show efficiently and effectively,
I don't disagree with you.
is
I'm
by
just saying
being there.
That's what they have advised us. I'm not sure of the verb, but advise is the word that I use. I don't know.
Well-
It is because early on when I first got on the board, Lois and I were talking about going. I specifically had a meeting with Karen and at the time, one of the lawyers, it wasn't Paul, it was the female that left. And
Caitlin.
and they were adamant that I should not go. And I was, but why not?
they who?
Karen Grissenville and the state and the lawyer, the attorney.
I was not.
Mr. Cox, Paul Cox? of the
No,
state?
I just
It was
clearly
Caitlin
said-
Love at the time, I think.
Right, her.
Yeah.
He wasn't the main lawyer, and but at least when the conversation I had, that's who she had. Caitlin, what's her last name?
Love.
She
Right.
left shortly afterwards.
I don't remember having that
No,
conversation.
I didn't say you and I said you and I wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
And I had a conversation with her about job descriptions and things of that nature. And then
Yeah.
and my questions to her, I said, well, what's the issue with us? A couple of us wanna go around, and I know Betsy, you had been going around, visiting the sites. And they were like adamant, like, we don't recommend that you should not, and similar to what you said.
And I do love to visit.
Yeah.
We used to divide up, you go this area,
Mhm.
and it's hard to cover this county in one day.
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
Right, and I think it said something about engaging. We didn't engage in the incident. We were there as observers, and we like to know from the people that we employ, how is this working? I had an opportunity to watch the half of the Ding Dong partnership hanging out at one of the party tents, and the chief judge coming out to do curbside voting. I had an issue with that. But as far as engaging in any activity,
That's so
Yeah.
remote.
yeah, that's not
It's not
going
a-
I think sometimes what happens is you get pulled into it. It's not necessarily that you're
No.
out there to get involved, it's just that sometimes when you're there and
Well.
something comes up, it could suck you into it. So
And
it's
we're
just
very,
a word
we're
of
very
caution.
cautious at Cottage,
Yeah.
at least I am, and I refer people to go to the chief judge. I'm not here to set any type of ruling or protocol or to go, for you to deviate from what you were told. And Bill and I both, we were very cautious to do that. And we asked for, how's it working, good to hear. People appreciated seeing members of the board come. And there was 2 judges that said that they never had that before. Of course, now they were new judges, so they didn't know about you and so, but,
Because they've asked us not to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when you stopped, you right, it was early on when you first.
Yeah, I mean, I have gone briefly just to like,
Yeah.
because we started talking about redistricting, which I do think we need to do.
How will we know what to redistrict if we don't go see?
Well, the actual, you can go see the location, like, when there's not voting.
But you don't have your signs out. You have to go and see the layout because those signs
I mean,
tell
I'm not saying
people-
that it's a bad idea, I'm just saying that the state
Yeah.
board, it says that we should go. That's all, that I'm just agreeing with.
They haven't told me that yet. I'll wait for
I'm
that.
looking for the numbered memo.
Okay, you have it?
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. I like to see the wording of it to see, because how else are we gonna see how well we are performing?
That was our
Yeah.
argument before.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, whenever-
agree with you, it's just that they have asked the county board members not go. I'm
Whenever,
not saying that it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that they've asked.
when we talk about, non-uniform, there's no uniform way of doing it. Who sets that? Is it up to the chief judge
So
to?
we do have a uniform way of setting up the site, and at training, they see the diagram. So they're supposed to have the door, a greeter, the check-in station, it circles to the ballot table, the voting machine, the booths, and the machine and out. So it's supposed to be a circular flow that we discussed. The reason you see it different sometimes from site to site is because you may walk in and their room may go this way, or the door may walk in and the room goes that way. So it kind of, the different layouts of the facility may require it to circle this way with the booths,
Yeah,
or
I
it
get
may
that.
circle this way with the booths.
Yeah, I
But
understand that.
the uniform part of it is the fact that it should circle so that there's one flow of traffic coming in, around, and then back out. That's kind of what we train them, is to keep that circular flow. And then we always try to have them opposite circular flow for provisionals. That way provisionals don't accidentally get put in the machine. So regular voting would check in booths this way, and then provisionals should be a help station this way where they can vote and then come out, separate location.
What is the purpose of having the voting machine, right at the door where someone's coming in and going out? I mean, they're putting their ballot, they're standing with the ballot like this way to put it in. And it's right in plain view of everyone coming in. What's the purpose of that?
Because most places don't have multiple doors to go in and out.
Didn't even move. It's not at the, I mean, you got people coming and going. I mean,
And then it does make a difference too where their power outlets are.
yeah, because
So if they don't have like in the gym, their power outlets may be right there next to the door.
power, okay. Because I was told that we try hard to protect the privacy of it. This was I guess, wouldn't have been the greeter, but it was the person who was directing you to which table to go to. So and I noticed that because it was brought to me. Well, you got the voting machine right there at the door. So I went over to the voting machine myself, stood there, and I saw the back and fronts of ballots right there, plain view.
Well, that's because they're walking through there. They don't have the little,
Maybe we can put it in a corner and put the vote.
but you still
Have
want it to
line.
be, you want that circular flow.
It would be a
So
circle
if you
flow.
have your circular flow, then they have to go over here for the machine, or if it's not handicap accessible, for them to go to the other. So it's just made to circular flow in and out.
Maybe as a solution, maybe what we could do is, I don't know the timing of it, but once each of the voting places are set up, if we just have a brief review, go to each one and make sure that we think it passes muster. Is that done? What time do they set up? Does anyone check out, set up besides the judges?
So they pick up their supplies on Monday. We deliver the supplies during the day Monday. So we travel the whole county to deliver the main supplies.
Okay,
Then the chief judges pick their stuff up in the afternoon, and then they all set up usually between 4 and 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday night. And then we're at work at 5 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. So for us, I mean, you said yourself, you can't travel around the county
no,
in a day, so we have to rely on those chief judges to, follow their training and set up their places accordingly. And then once we do receive complaints or issues, then we can reach out to the chief judges to correct those issues.
Make adjustments.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think a lot of these issues will be resolved once we do what we're going to do this coming year.
At least we're aware of that.
All right, are we ready to move forward? All right,
Yes,
so,
thank you.
before we go into closing the absentee, DS-200 and doing the tapes, I do have 4 voters that we need to, disapprove their absentee applications, because they have since passed away since casting their ballot. I can pass these around if you wanna look at them. That's just the voter profile. So the 4 people, listed there have passed away. And so we need to disapprove their applications and therefore their ballots. And I do have them pulled here so that once we do close the machines, we can subtract those totals from the tapes.
Well, they've already been processed.
Yes, they've already been processed because these are absentees and we run them each week. So their ballots have already gone through the machine.
And you got the deaths from the state? is that right?
Yes, that's what we have attached to it is the notice from the state, DHHS report, where they passed
We
away.
have to take a look at those ballots and then subtract each from each one.
Correct.
Okay.
So we'll close the machine, we'll do our absentee abstract, and then we'll subtract the votes from the abstract.
Do we put their names in the minutes as deceased? And do what
I can if that's what the board wants me to do, to put their names in.
I don't know.
I haven't had to write it down.
I don't know that. I don't.
This is my sister-in-law.
Well, in the past, it was up to the voters to challenge it, and now they've given the board more authority to challenge things on their own.
That's not. Say my sister.
Do you need a motion for that? Is that-
Yes.
Okay. Are you making it?
No, you-
Oh, okay, yeah, I move that we, whatever the wording you said on there, to do businesses, those 4 ballots.
My second.
And the names be included in the minutes?
Oh,
We can do that. So the names are Duncan Morrow, Coralie Evans, Jeanette Elkins, and Deborah Brooks.
I think it'd be better to put the names in there because people start looking at ballots, where's that 1 or 2 or whatever, so.
Yeah,
I
and,
second that.
yeah, and once they get ruled, their voter history is removed as well from their records. All right. I'll let Allison finish looking. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So with that, we will go ahead and close the DS-200 machine. The results will print, you guys will sign the tapes, we'll transfer them onto the absentee abstract. And as a reminder, these results are confidential until 7:30. So even though you will see the numbers, you cannot share those numbers with anybody until 7:30. Okay. All right, so if you want to look, you can see that the total on the machine is 2838, which is what we stopped with yesterday.
turn it off before we sign off.
Yes, because then it'll put the date.
No absentees?
Your side versus
Glasses, hearing aids, but these don't, that doesn't work, I'm telling you.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Let's see, Robert,
See, I didn't want it on phone. If you take the phone, yeah.
Allison, I do need your signature on these two forms. These are those abstract cover letters.
One of the public, so they have a complaint log, they turn in after every,
They all have a special problem sheet.
Incident log.
what is it?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a complaint, but it's like an incident, like the power went off for 5 minutes, or,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
well, there was,
car.
like the incident, what was it, the lady in the police, what they call her, she was trying to, they thought she was videoing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what-
King is gonna, he said he's gonna
He said he
do that.
was gonna put it in, I guess it's incident log.
Yes.
And what happens to that log?
We use it for auditing, and then afterwards, it's just with the records and stuff. So if there's special instances on there, we share with the board and stuff, but a lot of times if we see like something's off in the history, or the numbers are off, we can find the issue on the special problem.
Okay.
Excuse me, if anybody's.
Mama, somebody-
No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Okay, I got you.
Are you made aware of?
Yes,
Hey.
yes.
And you're in the middle.
At least not too thrilled about coming. Plans of both places, so I'm just scared. Like, what have you been here saying? But, yeah, she don't, you keep going and get people that did something, there's issues with that. They said her son, but I already decided.
While we're waiting for that, I can go ahead and start going through the ballots if you guys wanna come over and see what's on.
Everybody jump.
Yeah, right. So I'm just gonna make a tally next to the line that we
Yeah, these are
These are those,
Clerks are dismissing.
yeah.
people that,
People that go where they don't need to vote.
want to vote. Okay. And this,
They jumped ahead.
you know, I just think we should be honored. It's kind of like time in, which, but the law says you have to be alive. You have to be alive on voting day, and in the event that you're not,
We'll delete you.
we'll delete you, and you won't know anyway.
In the midst of all this, my car, I have to get a jump. All days, right? And we're checking Dan, like the bus one, and then, so God's will, no matter what, keeps on. People speak, they speak. Week?
Straight ticket.
Alright. Hopefully that you should start thinking soon. But there's so much data on there, it's taking a minute to load everything and the images and the whatever write-ins may be on there, so it does take it a minute.
Straight to the vote. That's probably, yeah, that's what you think.
You can do it whenever you
But I just
Yeah, but this,
want to vote. Yeah,
the one for Thanksgiving.
they made it, you had to vote for the president. Then the rest you then they come back to judges, and then they came back and changed it, said the judge meeting. And there goes. There's been a lot of changes. I guess I was in the General Assembly with the stuff I came up with. That's what made the General Assembly.
Because the family was upset because we were staying at 6 o'clock.
The one you had to cook on, how was that thing? I never did that.
Were you in town?
When, we were talking
Not
last
like,
night.
it's like to bring at least travel.
I know, well, unless you go to CBS.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? When he came?
No, we were in Washington.
Okay,
The farm relations committee.
Right.
Sitting there, and he introduces all the members, and Biden was a minority member, so
Okay.
it was pretty neat.
But
You know, I didn't know who Joe Biden was until
I only
the
get.
first time he was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. And he had every black.
I always wanted to go to Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
But it was always so much turmoil and people, and I remember one of the.
Senator Hill, Senator Morgan was the gave the commencement address at my high school graduation, Bill High School. First one we had it outside. We're all inside. That's the first time I ever had it. I don't know. 75. You came the next year,
No, I was there in
He
75.
said the
Yours?
top.
And I probably was a graduation, you're gonna be graduation at prom if you didn't do anything
didn't
else.
you? Yeah, we were outside and Robert Morgan was the keynote speaker.
But then they kind of did away with the speakers, when we got to try, they didn't have a speaker, and so I asked them, talked to Norman, I said, we get the seniors in there, and at least get somebody to come in and speak to them. And they did that for a while, and like some of the other,
Yeah. Oh, you did know Al Donaldson.
saw
And
that.
that's what I do. This is another travel here.
You
But
realize.
that's what I do with,
I didn't.
when I like.
He knew how to blow a whistle.
I met
He didn't know, he
one
didn't
of my
know,
friends, and
he didn't
she
look
brought
like it,
another
so.
friend.
He just- he
and they
got
got
rid of
here,
one
they
thing.
I saw him,
They
I saw
left
Jim's
for
probably
me, so my
3
next
years ago.
day,
Yeah.
I just went all over the place when I was a little lonesome.
Yeah,
So
I know.
His
I
daughter.
met up with this 70
Yeah, he told me, I think it was Simmons, because he took
American
Nick Stewart's place.
bought it, she said,
Frank Stewart.
So I
Frank,
remember
okay.
You know, I did not know who he was. He ran, when,
did what I wanted.
gosh, he ran for,
Was yeah, did what I wanted to
Yeah.
do.
CB
and I
was
feel
on.
like I wanted
that's
to.
right, CB Stewart is on. So I didn't realize, I said, you know, yeah, I thought next door, I look, oh, that's the next door, that's me, no, that's Frank, no, that's Cody.
And I think they're second, Nick and, or Neil Stewart, they call it Nick.
Yeah,
So
Frank
we were
was
born
second
Sunday and then.
well, he,
Christmas stuff, it just didn't go.
Jim Future was running for the Board of
It's,
Education,
Right.
we.
and I was helping Jim,
California.
and when I said, I know, he said,
Yeah,
that's
it's
Frank.
Well, isn't,
So I wanted to ask, I said,
is it,
you know, things.
honestly,
He's just like,
no?
No, so once
Yeah.
that, you know, once you get about 3 o'clock, it's over.
Yeah.
You're gonna press it. In PPE and control. That's what
He says,
it's morning, then put shorts.
he didn't change so much.
I got you.
Yeah,
It was
I wouldn't-
you,
but that was like
okay,
there in
talked,
September.
Frank taught you.
yeah, he taught me civics, that's right, and that was
The
her.
end of September meeting.
And he was, yeah, and he was the JV coach and the varsity basketball.
And he left there and he went early.
Yeah,
Then he went
Has
past
to
the
stay on top.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He
I
was.
went back
Oh,
to the trail.
Hours.
After the first year, I mean, I remember get back there.
You have to do what mama
That
wants to
first year
do.
done.
What I want to
Yeah.
do
Quit driving was.
Their philosophy.
is
He
take.
was. I had 1 year with A.D. Johnson and he took over.
All the unique things, museums and stuff.
But that was so funny, I was
And
just.
then,
He said, that's me.
Yeah, he told me he was Kenzo related to him. Yeah, yes, I know him, yeah. Yeah, 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 you know, he coached me football, and he was, he was tough. He wanted to-
could you have waited?
And the traffic.
He's a good fellow, he's one of the most
6:30, we'll reconvene, then we'll open Millington, Irwin, Western, Harnett, and Anger, and close those machines and print those tapes and start reporting the results. So is there a motion to recess until 7:30?
Question.
Yes,
This is not closed yet?
it is closed
This is
now.
absentees.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, oh.
Yeah, this is it, yeah.
Good enough.
The early voting's what we're gonna close at the office.
I move. So, until 7:30.
Second?
Aye.
Alright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, we are recessed at 6:02.